So about the vacuum leak, I think I found that vacuum leak. I think this will do, guys. And so, got the replacement part here. Now this is something that I had planned on replacing anyway. Here's the part number. I mean, you can pause it if you need. Frankly, the reason I have this already is because there was a crack around here anyway, on this side. This just makes it, just awesome, I guess. So there's no excuses for not getting the part. Now, along those same lines, no pun intended there, like a vacuum line. But anyway, along those same lines, I've been replacing each of the parts where there could be a leak. So there was a new intake box. These bolts were not in here before. I replaced those. The math was good, as far as I could tell. This part's replaced. This elbow hose or whatever the hell it's called, this had leaks before. That's been replaced. What's next though is you notice that there's a grommet here. It's gray. I'm gonna replace that, and right here there's a housing that goes there. So to give you a sense of what's gonna happen today, this will be replaced, this boot. Right here, this housing, see this little grommet here, will go in here. I noticed that it was loose fitting before. That will be replaced. And lastly, this little gasket here goes right here. So 1, 2, 3. So here's what we got. This was one part of the boot, right? This connects to the air box. This part's separated and was left there. And since the time I ordered this part, it's gotten worse, but it was cracked before. So I'll show you it up here. So this part connects it here, and this crack here, it was at the bottom. So I kind of saw this, it was like that, but it's gotten much worse, and this part fully separated. That's gonna be that's gonna be a problem, because this is here, and where my glove is where the mass airflow sensor. So this is so much unmetered air going in that it's gonna be problems, right? So we're gonna button this thing back up now that we have the new gasket on here. It's a pain, by the way. You have 1, 2, 3 bolts. The ones at the bottom are hard to get to, but eventually I did get to it. Put that back on. We have the new part here. We have this new part, and I'll show you the old one. Here's the old one. Now, what might not be obvious is that this had somewhat warped, right? It feels still soft and everything, but it was like bent as it was going in. Heat and rubber, over time it's gonna cause issues. So there could be a slight leak here. It's just such an easy part to switch out, and such a cheap part that I figure, because I saw that deformation, I'm gonna change it. So I'm gonna button this thing back up, get this in here, clean everything down, and see how the car runs. Alright, so here's something that's important with this. I think it's better off to get this in first before putting the IAC. Put this in first, right? So you can make sure everything is sitting super flush. Right? I think part of the reason with the old one, what happened with the old one was they placed it on the IAC first, and then they put it in. The part that was deformed was towards the bottom. Now in this instance, this thing is on here flush, right? It's here flush, and now I know I could trust that when I attach this here, I know that it'll be in good. All right, now before I put this back together, and this is important now, I'm going to clean this IAC here, right? This this monitors how much fuel, how much intake air is getting in, especially during startup. A quick way to know if this is maybe dirty or needs replacement is if it's not moving as it should. Now in here you can see, I mean it's dirty, right? There is some buildup, but if you hear the sound, you hear it moving around there. Now in terms of this, it should be moving, but one thing that can happen is that it's not moving as freely as it should. This one sounds all right, but since I have everything apart, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it all down with some carb cleaner, let it dry out, and then get it back on there. Easy thing to do, especially if you're doing these things. All right, so now this is after cleaning it, right? It wasn't that much, but listen to how much more freely it's moving in there. Before I had to really turn, but here it's clearly moving more freely, and that's with just some carb clean. Easy. And here we go, right? Before and after. Vacuum leak out the wazoo. What the hell is a wazoo?